maybe like a Utah Jazz kind of team. He's got ties obviously in California,
Right.
and obviously in
Weber State out there in Utah.
right, in Utah as well.
Well, Dame is only one of 3 players in his first 5 years to have over 1,500 points and 400 assists. You know who the other 2 players are?
Who are the other two?
LeBron James,
Okay, I think I've heard of him.
the King,
The King.
and the Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Okay, so 2 of the greatest that have ever touched a basketball ever
And
in all time.
you can add Dame to that list.
Right. And it's crazy though to think how good Dame is. I mean, as far as clutch factor, him and Kyrie are pretty similar.
Right.
They can definitely get it done. But I don't see this trade happening one bit. And even if he wanted to come to Portland, I think Portland wouldn't be interested in him just because, you know what I mean? Like you got maybe arguably the one thing that he has better than Dame is his handles. Maybe just his ball control. But besides that, I don't really see anything else that he is really that much better than Damian Lillard at this point in his career.
Maybe the management will want to get more oohs and ahs of the fans.
Well, and maybe like windability factor, like crybaby factor. Maybe he's a little bit better than Dame. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, I like the way that Portland's trending. We're trending upwards.
Yes, sir.
We obviously had our new uniforms that they just released from Nike.
Fire.
They're looking pretty swaggy. It is lit. They have they look pretty similar from last year's. Right. I mean, the font is pretty similar. It's stretched out a little bit.
What makes them stand out, though?
They got the little Rip City on the waistband, and they're looking pretty nice. They're going to be releasing, I think, about 4 or 5 different uniforms. Probably a black, white, red, and then maybe a throwback or 2. So we'll get the full release. I know they had a few pictures that were released within the last week.
Right.
So we'll have some of those for you as well. But let's just get this Kyrie Irving shit over with, man. I'm sick of it, man.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about him and that dude LeVar Ball. Like, man.
Right. I mean, there's like they're reaching for stories right now.
Right.
There's
ain't too much going on.
Right.
We actually do got something else going on for all of the Northwest sports fanatics out here in this area. One of my favorite safeties, Mr. Cam Chancellor.
So the Seattle Seahawks signed Cam Chancellor, a key member of the Legion of Boom, to a 3-year extension worth $36 million, $25 million guaranteed.
Mr. Cam Chancellor, 85 tackles last year, 2 picks. He only played in 12 games last year, but this will lock him up until the 2020 season. 4-time Pro Bowler, and this will be his 7th season.
Right. Coming up in his final year of his 5-year, $29.323 million deal that he signed in 2013. He quote unquote said, "I love this team. They gave me my first opportunity, my only opportunity, and I would love to retire here." And I believe him. I mean, he is
I believe him too.
Quite possibly the best defensive player on Seattle. Believe it or not. I mean, some would argue with Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas.
That's what I was going to go.
But he does all the dirty work that Pete Carroll tells him to do, and there's not a lot of guys in the league that can do what he does. But now locked up long term, you have Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas III, Richard Sherman, and Michael Bennett. So that is a hell of a core. Moving forward, I'm not sure if they're still in the realm of Super Bowl contenders. Right. I mean, if you're in the NFC West, you're going to be a contender based off that division every year, unless Arizona can just, blow it out of the water and help contend.
Right.
But pretty much you're going to be guaranteed at 9, 10, 11 wins. You'll make the playoffs, but we don't know if you can actually get past the first round since you don't have beast mode Marshawn Lynch anymore.
Cam, he's kind of the enforcer to me out of that group. I mean, you do got Earl, who he's coming off an injury, and then Sherman, but then you got Cam, the enforcer. When you go over that middle, you make sure you're looking out for where he's at. And he also, you see him just make a big play right there. His hands is great. He's great in coverage.
Look at that speed.
So he's probably the best strong safety in the game right now.
He's definitely up there. And obviously talent-wise, Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman are probably a little bit better on that, like top-end talent, name recognition, overall statistics. But he's kind of like the sleeper. You know what I mean? They kind of sleep on him because he's maybe the 3rd best guy in the Legion of Boom. Maybe 3rd or 4th best guy on the D to some people, because I know a lot of people like Michael Bennett a lot. He does,
like Bennett,
and then Cliff Averill, right? He does a lot for him. Wagner. So, I mean, they're loaded on defense. But the real question for Seattle will be on the offensive end and what the production they can get from AKA Feast Mode, Eddie Lacy. So we don't really know if he will be able to live up to Beast Mode's reputation, but based off kind of similar skill set, body type of maybe game planning that they're going to do, they're hoping that Feast Mode can take them to the Super Bowl this year.
All right, congrats to our guy, Mr. the Cam Chancellor. MLB, the
Right.
deadline. The deadline has came and gone.
Right. So we had a couple big moves that, two teams really kind of ended up on top. First, we want to touch on my dad's favorite team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They finally got their ace, Rangers stud, Yu Darvish.
Yes, the Rangers traded Yu Darvish to the Dodgers for Mr. Willie Calhoun, who was the fourth ranked prospect in their farm system. Right-handed pitcher AJ Alexi, 17th ranked, and shortstop Brendan Davis, who was ranked 27th.
Right. So the Dodgers going into today, 74-31, a 14-game lead in the NL West. They're trying to break that 29-year championship drought. I know my dad talks about it all the time. I mean, they're getting close. And then
Yes.
Magic Johnson, as of last week, said they are winning the World Series this year. And based off the moves that they're making, and if they can get Kershaw healthy, this could be possibly the year that they do it. Now, Darvish is going to complement Clayton Kershaw, arguably the best pitcher in the game when healthy.
Oh, yeah.
He is currently on the DL with back strain. But I have a really crazy stat for you that you're not going to believe. Believe it or not, Yu Darvish has the most strikeouts per 9 innings pitched in the last 5 seasons.
Wow.
I want to tell you about the names that he beat. All right. So you have at number 5, Clayton Kershaw, 10.5.
Okay.
Right. Number 4, Rich Hill, 10.6.
Wow.
Number 3, Chris Sale, 10.7. Number 2, your guy, Max Scherzer,
I heard of him
10.9. And number 1, Yu Darvish, 11.3.
Wow.
So I don't think a lot of people really recognize that. I mean, he has had a kind of 2 seasons that haven't been kind of lackluster, the best. But
Yeah.
I mean, and what crazy thing out of that? 3 out of those top 5 players, what team are they on? The Los Angeles Dodgers. Yu Darvish, Clayton Kershaw, and Rich Hill. So
Wow.
they're going to be making a push. I mean, I'm not sure if they have enough to maybe get past the Nationals and some of these other teams, but it's looking like maybe a Yankees, Astros, maybe Dodgers, Nationals, the way that Bryce Harper and Scherzer are kind of playing. It'll be real interesting. But the Dodgers definitely got their ace, and it definitely now makes them the favored team, the favorite, obviously, in the National League.
The rich get richer.
The rich get richer.
I mean, Yu Darvish, his last couple of years, he hasn't been the same pitcher. Of course, that'll happen when you have Tommy John surgery.
Right.
He came out the box smoking to begin his career. This year, 6-9, 4.01 ERA. His last 8 starts, he's 0-5 with a 5.81 ERA. But he is a 4-time All-Star, and that talent is still there. It's just about if the Dodgers can get him to bring the best of it out of him, give him a little flashback.
Right. And plus you got to think the hitting that the Dodgers can provide.
Yeah, they can provide more
compare,
runs.
To the Rangers. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of talent over there. They have a few pieces. Adrian Beltre, who, congratulations, just got his 3,000th hit just recently and broke that record. But, the Dodgers are loaded. They got plenty of talent from top to bottom. So it should be an excellent move for them making this postseason push.
All right, and it was also another move made by the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees actually get A's stud at the deadline, Sonny Gray. Now, something about Sonny Gray I want you to know that a lot of people don't know. He's got the best ERA since June 25th. He's in the top 3. So most people would be like, is he really that good?
Mhm.
So Clayton Kershaw, 0.56 ERA. Which is redonkulous. 0.56. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Right. Chris Sale, 1.10 ERA. Right. Which is also insane. Sonny Gray right behind him, 1.37 earned run average. So he's been hot since June 25th. Now you have Luis Severino, broken out as an all-star this year. So that's who they have to kind of pair him up with. Now Masahiro Tanaka, not been good this year.
No,
so they had to
hasn't.
find someone to kind of replace him. 5.09 ERA this year. He's just definitely looked lost. CC Sabathia, for being an old man, he's still doing it.
He's still putting in work.
He's still putting in work. And then you got rookie lefty Jordan Montgomery added to that mix. So Sonny Gray is definitely one of the more, I think, underrated prospects, obviously, in this trade deadline. I mean, Yu Darvish, I think, was a little bit more of a fan favorite.
Right.
But I think once the fans kind of see how good his control is, and how he pretty much just dominates the game from beginning to end.
Right.
This could really be the piece that I'm not sure if it'll be good enough to beat like the Astros or the Indians, but it definitely gives them a hell of a push since you got Aaron Judge, firing on all cylinders, hitting home runs, it seems like every game. Now they got at least a pitching stud to match up with their hitting stud moving forward.
Good thing about Sonny Gray, he's only 27 years old.
Right.
So he's just entering the peak of his professional
Yep.
career. The Athletics, they gave away, they gained 3 top 100 prospects from the Yankees, so it's good for them moving forward. Sonny Gray, 44 and 36 career record, 3.42 ERA. This year he was 6-5 with 3.43 ERA.
Right. So great move. Obviously, it puts them in a great position. I'm not sure, like I said, that I would see them as the favorite in the American League because I know Cleveland is going to get hot. And obviously, the team that I like the best, the Astros, with Altuve and Springer.
Their pitching is too good.
Right. That team is loaded, and they've had injuries on top of that. It's going to be really tough to be able to beat the Astros, moving forward. But I do like what the Yankees have done, and it really makes them relevant this year. I know Boston Red Sox fans are not happy about this because now more than likely they're going to get passed in the division. But as far as Yankee fans across the country, this is the first year that you kind of put all your chips in one corner. And if they can cash in and make the World Series, even if they lose, it really puts them back on the map. And typically that's good for baseball to have one of the powerhouse teams kind of get back up there, as long as they don't win year after year after year. Back in the Steinbrenner days when people started to complain about, having no cap and, them spending all the money.
Signing everybody.
Right.
All right. So there you guys have it with our daily sports news update. We'll be back at you real soon. We got to get some NFL action.
Right. The only other news I want to touch on very quickly, obviously, Mr. Ryan Clady, obviously decided to retire today. So I don't know. First it was Nikovic, and now it's Ryan Clady, formerly of the Broncos. So it seems like, I'm not sure if it's just, like I said, the CTE thing, or if it was just maybe they feel that they can't play it to their level. Obviously, they need to bring, the practice, the mental game.
The dog days of the summer, man. They start taking the beating on you when you get to over 30.
Right. The 2-a-days and whatnot. Yeah. So, it probably wears on a lot of these guys. But obviously, Ryan Clady had a great career.
Yes, he
did. It helped the Broncos win a Super Bowl. It's looking forward to, obviously him enjoying the offseason.
All right. So there you guys have it. We'll be back at you real soon. I'm Marcus. This is Orion. Only got one question for you. Who talk sports like us?
Northwest Sports Fanatics.